Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another quick game of interplanetary I Spy going on here. We're back to the moon and we're back to Apollo 8 yet again. I've been going through a lot of these Apollo 8 images recently. There's some really cool stuff in these, honestly guys. You've got to check these out. This is on the Flickr website, and we're looking at Apollo 8 magazine 12D, okay? And this was taken back in 1968, I think, and there's some great stuff in here. I'll just crack straight on with it. But the main area we're looking at in this image today is right up here in the top left corner. There is another tower. Here it is, just here, okay? And there are structures to the left of it here which look intelligent here, and there's also something here which looks like it's a sort of square structure sticking up. There's also some weird stuff down here. There's another image, part of the image here. I mean, there is a bit of pixelation here, but you can get rid of that. I'll show you that in a minute. There's something interesting going on here, but not all of it is brilliantly clear because it's a long, long way off, and only the very, very largest structures will show up in any detail, okay? So bear that in mind. There's also something weird by this crater near the center of the image, just here. Some kind of crazy structure. So I will try and bring these out for you, and if I don't show you them straight away, they will be in at the end of the video, okay, as usual. Right, there's also this down here. There's a square structure sticking up here with a long straight structure here, sticking right up there, can you see that? Okay, and there was this one which is very strange and looks like huge buildings here with a tower here. It looks a bit like the Shard in London, a recent skyscraper we built, and multiple structures next to it that seem to be sticking up. So I will put enhancements of these in at the end, and you'll have a good close-up look at them and make up your own mind, because some of these may be natural, but I'm sure some of them aren't, especially the tower. And as I always say with these things, if you find something like a tower in a crater or next to a crater, there are often things nearby which also look intelligent, because it's unlikely you would just get a tower on its own in the middle of nowhere. There would be other structures nearby to support it, and perhaps some kind of facility or something like that nearby. Now, that seems to make logical sense to me. Okay, I'll show you the raw clip first and just flick through. Now, as always with these images, they're very pale, and you don't see a great deal of contrast in the image, but even before you do that, you can see that's a tower sticking up. So this is completely raw, nothing done to this. It's just been enlarged, and you can see already that there's a tower here, there's a line here sticking up, and this is very odd here, very straight, and there's some multiple structures in here. Now, I appreciate you can't see them very well, but I will enhance this and show you in a second. Now, there I've just straightened the image up, that's still raw, added contrast. Now it's starting to come out, and you can start to see that really clearly just there. And there's definitely something here also, okay? So, to save time, I'm going to go in with the enhanced clips that I have. Now, here's the general area, and I've gone in quite heavy with the contrast here. And I've added a blue filter because that actually helps, especially if you're colorblind, like some of us are. This can actually help you see the shapes better for some reason, and is why on certain websites like Facebook they use blue and white instead of black and white, because it just is easier on the eye, okay? And you can see that tower very, very clearly. Now, this isn't anywhere near as big as the giant white moon tower, and it's not the same one. This is a different one. It's a different area, and it's not anywhere near as big, but it's still very, very large indeed. I would say that may be something at least 1 kilometre high, possibly about 1 mile, but it's not 2 to 5 miles high like the giant white moon tower is. This is a bit smaller, but still very, very large indeed. And you can see next to it, there's upright structures here that look like a couple of skyscrapers or something, and there's this very large structure here. And if you look carefully, you can see in here lots and lots of detail. quite clearly the tower and multiple rectangular structures in here. There's another structure sticking up here, quite tall, not as bright as this one. And there's this here, which looks like part of this huge structure here, which looks like a massive hangar or bunker type structure. And inside that structure, you've got multiple uprights in here as well, okay? Multiple uprights. And the more you look at this, you think, well, hang on a minute. And you start looking behind it and you think, well, there's another upright structure here. There's more uprights here. There's a diagonal here, which is very straight. And there's more uprights over here. There's a cross shape here. This looks like a city. What else can I say? Multiple structures built on top of each other. Multiple story structures. Very, very large structures indeed. I mean, this is miles across here. Miles and miles. This is the size of a city. Now, I do appreciate that a lot of this may just be random stuff, especially up here in the corner. But it may just be out of focus and too far away. And the reason we're seeing this part of the image clearer is because it's more in focus and closer. And when you look at this image for a while, you begin to see stuff all over the place. Just here is a very bright looking, very large structure, which seems to be stuck up on a sort of plinth or plateau-like structure here. That looks like it could be an intelligent structure. And there's lots of uprights and stuff in there as well. These are all over the place in this image, okay? Insane, absolutely insane. And this to me was very convincing, this angle here, and this upright here, and obviously the white tower here, and there's square structures in here, rectangular, huge structures. Bear in mind that this may well be something like 5 or 10 miles from here to here, okay? So these structures are massive, absolutely enormous. And are way bigger than anything we've got down here when you look at the general size. But they may look like a few very large structures, where in fact they're probably hundreds and hundreds of smaller structures built next to each other and on top of each other. But because of the resolution of the picture and the distance, we're not seeing them in full detail. So they tend to look like fewer, bigger structures rather than lots of smaller ones. Okay? Which is the effect you would get if you were looking at a city from a great distance. A lot of the structures seem to kind of merge together in the image, okay? But I'm absolutely convinced this is not a natural crater or not natural topography. This is intelligent design. You can see uprights, you can see buildings, you can see all sorts here. I will try and bring these out a bit more and enhance this a bit more for you before the end of the video, and I'll stick it in at the end, okay? But there is also this area. Now this is clear, a bit vague some of this stuff, but this does look very unnatural, okay? And this is where to look, down here towards the left of the image, okay? Just there. I'll get that one up now. I'll start with the raw image, and even in the raw image you can see this structure here, that curve, and what looks like a, what can I say, another tower, but this one is more like the Shard in London. It's kind of like a more of a natural kind of curved shape, okay? And next to it you have other upright structures here, especially just here. I'm not saying all of this is unnatural and intelligent, but some of it does look that way. And when you enhance the contrast, like I've done here, you can see that sticking up, and you can see this sticking up, okay? Insane, absolutely insane. Now I've gone in even harder with the contrast, and you can see it even more. You can see these uprights, you can see that tower-like thing sticking up. But this is different from the other stuff. This is more like a skyscraper, and you can actually see structure and shadow here as well, okay? So this would also be probably miles high, very, very large indeed. And whether the base of it is here or it carries on all the way down to here, it's hard to say, because there isn't enough detail to actually show that. But you do have some very upright looking structures here, okay? Especially here and here, okay? And I'll show you the one with the blue filter, because that's probably a bit clearer, and that's the brighter one. So yeah, a bit vague that. It looks a bit smoky in this area, and I do wonder whether there is some kind of kind of gas on the surface, because you can see in some of these images like a smoky effect. Now, I'm not saying there's an atmosphere on the moon, but there may well have been in the past, and it may well have been a habitable surface with oxygen. As far as we know, we really don't know the true history of our moon, and these may have been built at such a time when there was an atmosphere on the actual planetoid or moon, as we call it. So don't rule that out. It's still early days yet. We've only been going to the moon since the 1960s, but an ancient culture in the past may have been advanced enough to go there before us, and this may explain these structures. Who these people were, I couldn't tell you. It kind of looks clearer if you sit back a bit from this one. If you get in too close, you can't see the shapes so well, but that is sticking up. You can see it clearly. That is an upright structure here, okay? Just here. So there we go. It's just, it's quite mind-boggling. The scale of these structures is way and above anything we've got down here. And there do seem to be structures everywhere. This bright one here, that X-shaped thing here. I mean, this is insane. I just really hope we do get some, well, I do find some closer images of that particular area, because it looks very interesting to me. I will see you soon.